In an energetic late-night livestream, DJ Akademiks leans in closer to the camera, his voice brimming with excitement and a hint of tension. This moment represents one of those rare instances in hip-hop commentary where opinions can divide the community. The central question? It's not about Kendrick Lamar's talent or the success of GNX. The real question is much deeper. Did Kendrick Lamar just release a classic album? By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip-hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. With a grin, Akademiks kicks off the discussion in his signature style. Let me be clear, I'm a fan of Drake. That's well known. I've said it many times. I believe Drake's songwriting is outstanding, and he's dominated the charts for over 10 years. But Kendrick? Kendrick just made a significant impact with GNX. That's a fact. It's bold, unapologetic, and quintessentially Kendrick, telling stories that no one else can. However, despite recognizing the album's significance, Akademiks expresses doubt about calling it a classic. I'm not saying GNX is inferior. Not at all, he gestures thoughtfully. But a classic? Let's not rush to judgment. People use that term too casually these days. Just because something sells well and goes viral doesn't mean it will stand the test of time in 10 years. Conversely, Wack 100, known for his bluntness, provides a different perspective. Speaking with his usual confidence, Wack responds to Akademiks without hesitation. Wack contends that what makes GNX a classic is what Kendrick chose to leave out. With just 12 tracks, it's succinct and doesn't feature every major name in the industry. Most of the collaborations are with emerging artists, which takes courage. The industry needed this reminder that substance is still important. Kendrick didn't play it safe for commercial success. He forged his own path and set a precedent for others to follow. Akademiks, always ready for a debate, leans back and critiques the current music landscape. Kendrick has mastered the art of timing, I'll give him that. He can disappear for years and then drop something explosive. That's power. In contrast, Drake saturates the market, which is a different type of power but comes with its drawbacks. You lose the element of being missed. Kendrick builds anticipation, which is why his releases feel monumental. But that alone doesn't qualify it as a classic. The discussion then explores what constitutes a classic album in today's music scene, expanding to include context, culture, legacy, and the influencers in hip-hop. Wack adds, a classic doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be significant. GNX was important. It reminded everyone that the West Coast still has a voice and soul. For years, the South has been dominant, especially Atlanta. But GNX? It restored some balance. He's correct. GNX didn't just achieve impressive streaming numbers, it ignited a cultural movement. Luther topped the Billboard 200 for 13 weeks, a remarkable feat in an age where attention spans are short and playlists take precedence over full albums. However, AK believes that this alone doesn't settle the debate. The charts don't define what a classic is, AK asserts. It's about the impact and legacy. We won't fully understand GNX's legacy for some time. Just like how people initially overlooked 808s and Heartbreak but now see it as revolutionary, that's my point. Albums need time to resonate. The pause in their conversation is telling. There's something undeniable about GNX's arrival. It didn't just make the charts, it generated excitement. It transformed fan communities and reignited long-standing conversations in rap, revitalizing the essence of the genre. In a music landscape where rap albums often fade away without leaving a trace, GNX stood out. Its production, structure, and release were meticulously designed, yet it maintained a sense of authenticity. Kendrick viewed GNX not as a return but as a recalibration, for himself, the West Coast, and hip-hop as a whole. Wack underscores this notion, stating, Kendrick didn't merely release an album, he prompted the entire industry to reflect. He declared, this is our current reality, and this is the direction I'm taking it. That transcends music, that's leadership. That's why it's a classic. Despite his reservations, AK doesn't completely disagree. However, he's not yet ready to label it a classic. I believe the album has the potential to become a classic. That's the best way to put it. It's not on par with Illmatic or The Blueprint, at least not yet. But it's part of the conversation, and that in itself is significant. What makes this discussion intriguing is the varying interpretations of classic from each person. For Wack, it's about cultural significance and bold innovation. For AK, it's about lasting impact and undeniable influence. Both perspectives are valid, yet distinct. Meanwhile, Kendrick remains above the fray, observing the debate while preparing for his next moves. The album GNX embodies this same intricate tension. It's not just about storytelling, it's about confrontation. Tracks like Luther, Golden State Fire, and Dead Homies at Coachella delve into themes that go beyond typical chart toppers. Kendrick raps with the awareness that his words carry weight beyond the present moment. His flow is powerful, yet his delivery is controlled, like someone who has patiently allowed the noise to crescendo, only to remind everyone of the strength found in silence. Wack takes pride in highlighting this. Just look at the structure. 12 tracks. No filler. No fluff. It's all meaningful content. It's as if Kendrick assessed the situation and said, "Did everyone forget about the artistry? Watch this." And then he taught us a lesson. AK nods in agreement, clearly impressed. Kendrick's approach was clever too. No interviews, no promotional tours, just music and an air of mystery. That shows he knows the landscape well. He didn't play the algorithm game. He concentrated on building anticipation, and it truly paid off. They both concur that Kendrick's absence was a deliberate strategy. His silence amplified the impact of his return, making it feel explosive. Wack grins. When people start quoting your lyrics before the song even finishes, that's something remarkable. That's cultural significance. You don't see that with every project. As their conversation progresses, it's evident that both men hold Kendrick's artistry in high regard, even if they have differing opinions on the label it should carry. Furthermore, it becomes apparent that GNX symbolizes something greater than just Kendrick. It represents hip-hop's effort to reclaim its edge. In a time dominated by viral moments, where TikTok clips set trends and albums are crafted for quick consumption, GNX brought a sense of unity. It offered a voice that didn't chase after relevance but instead returned to its roots. The discussion shifts from who is right to the meaning behind the conversation. For AK, his reluctance to label GNX a classic stems from his belief that classics should feel sacred. For Wack, it's the project's impact and audacity that warrant that title. As always, Kendrick releases his art and steps back, allowing the culture to engage in its own dialogue. That's part of his genius. He understands that conversation is vital to the experience. GNX wasn't created for universal praise. It was designed to provoke thought, reactions, and re-evaluation. It was meant to resonate. At the conclusion of their conversation, AK shifts his position slightly. I'll put it this way, if GNX still feels as urgent, raw, and vital in 5 years as it does now, I'll be the first to call it a classic. I just want to give it some time. Wack leans in with a confident smile, as if he can already envision the future. You'll come around, AK. You always do. And perhaps he will. Because GNX, whether praised or criticized, has accomplished something that few albums manage to do these days. It has made the culture stop and think. It has urged fans to listen closely. It has sparked conversations among critics. It has prompted other rappers to rethink their methods. Whether it ends up being labeled a classic or simply a moment of brilliance, one thing is certain. Kendrick Lamar has reminded everyone that rap is still a battleground for ideas, and he remains one of its most influential figures. The album is more than just a series of tracks. It serves as a reflection, a warning, a guide, and a challenge. If that doesn't qualify as classic, then what does? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.